Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about pharmacogenomics,
Oh, yeah.
which is like the coolest thing I've heard in forever.
It's so cool. It's really like the future of medicine.
Yeah, how our genes can actually affect the way our bodies handle different drugs.
Yeah. It's amazing how we used to think one size fits all for medicine.
Right.
And now we're realizing that
Sure.
it just doesn't work that way.
It's almost like everyone's got the same user manual,
Hmm.
but our bodies have slightly different settings.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Think of it like this. Even a single letter change in your DNA code
Whoa.
can completely change how a drug is broken down, how well it's absorbed, even whether it causes side effects.
Okay, wait, I need you to back up for a sec.
Sure.
I get that genes are like our blueprint,
Yeah.
but what's a gene variant?
Okay, so gene variant.
How does that actually mess with my meds?
It's like a typo in your instruction manual.
Okay.
Most of the time, it's a tiny change, just a single letter swapped out.
Hmm.
We call it a SNP, a single nucleotide polymorphism.
SMP.
Yeah. But even that small difference can change the protein that the gene codes for.
Okay.
And those proteins are the workers in your body's factory.
Gotcha.
Some of them are responsible for metabolizing drugs.
Oh, so a different version of the protein means the drug might not get processed the way it's supposed to.
Exactly. It could break down too quickly, so it's less effective.
Oh.
Or too slowly leading to a buildup, and you can have toxicity.
Oh, wow.
It can even change how the drug interacts with your body's receptors.
That's wild. Okay, so give me an example, in real life, where this has a huge impact.
Okay, so there are certain medications where pharmacogenomics is already changing the game.
Okay.
Like abacavir, for example, it's used to treat HIV.
Mm-hmm.
But some people have a specific gene variant that makes them extremely sensitive to this drug.
Oh, no.
And they can experience severe, even life-threatening reactions.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really important. With pharmacogenomics, a simple test can identify those people beforehand.
Oh, wow. So they don't even have to
Exactly.
go through that.
It's about preventing harm and making sure people get the right treatment right from the start.
I can see why this is such a game changer. Are there other medications where this kind of testing is super important?
Oh, yeah, tons.
Give me another one.
Let's look at carbamazepine. It's commonly prescribed for epilepsy.
Yeah.
Some people have a genetic predisposition to developing serious skin reactions to
Oh,
this drug.
so they could find out
Yeah.
before they even start taking it.
Exactly. With pharmacogenomics, you can identify those individuals before they even start the medication.
That's amazing.
You can consider alternative treatments and avoid potentially life-threatening complications.
Wow. This is seriously important stuff.
Yeah.
These tests could really help avoid some pretty nasty side effects.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's switch gears a little and talk about a medication used to treat breast cancer, tamoxifen.
Okay, what's the connection there?
So genetic variations can affect how efficiently a person's body metabolizes tamoxifen, which can impact its effectiveness.
Got it. So it's all about making sure people are actually getting the most
It's a
benefit
phase.
from their treatment.
It's tailoring treatments to individuals based on their genetic makeup.
This is so cool. Okay, I've also heard the terms precision medicine and personalized medicine thrown around. Are those all the same thing?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
They're definitely related, but there are subtle differences.
Okay.
Precision medicine is the broader term.
Okay.
It includes any approach that uses an individual's unique variations, not just genes, but also environment and lifestyle.
The whole picture,
Exactly. The whole puzzle.
not just one piece.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that each person is unique and responds to treatment differently.
Okay, cool. Now, personalized medicine. That sounds like it's a unique treatment just for me.
It's often used interchangeably with precision medicine,
All right.
but it can be a bit misleading.
Okay, how so?
It's not about creating a unique concoction for every single person.
Gotcha.
It's more about identifying groups of people who share certain characteristics, whether genetic, environmental, or lifestyle related, and tailoring treatments that are most likely to be effective for them.
So more targeted treatments for specific groups
Exactly.
rather than individual recipes for everyone.
Precisely. It's about moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach and acknowledging that what works for one person may not work for another, even if they have the same condition.
That makes sense. Okay, so how do these pharmacogenetic tests actually work? Is it some crazy complicated procedure?
Not at all. It's actually pretty simple.
Really?
Typically, it just involves a blood test, a saliva sample, or even a cheek swab.
Wait, seriously? It's that easy?
Yeah, and get this, there are even at-home tests available now.
Hold on, I could order a test online and find out how my genes affect my medication response.
It is pretty cool.
That's wild.
But a word of caution, it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional
Of course.
when it comes to interpreting these test results and making treatment decisions.
They're the experts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say I do one of these tests.
Huh.
What kind of information am I going to get back?
The results won't diagnose any specific diseases.
Okay.
What they'll do is reveal whether you have any gene variants that might affect how your body processes certain medications.
So it's not like a crystal ball into my future health,
Right.
but more like a roadmap to guide medication choices and dosages.
Exactly. It's about empowering you and your healthcare provider to make more informed decisions about your treatment.
This is starting to sound like the holy grail of healthcare.
Yeah?
Like tailored treatments, fewer side effects, and potentially better outcomes.
Yeah.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities.
It certainly has the potential to revolutionize how we approach healthcare.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at what these pharmacogenetic tests can actually tell us
Okay.
and how they're being used in practice today.
Sounds like a great place to pick up in part 2.
Welcome back.
Okay, so before we went off, we were talking about how these pharmacogenetic tests can give us this incredible insight into how our genes influence our response to medication.
Right, and we dove into a few specific examples, like abacavir for HIV, carbamazepine for epilepsy, and tamoxifen for breast cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, are there other medications where this kind of testing is already making a big difference?
Oh, absolutely. We briefly touched on blood thinners like warfarin and clopidogrel earlier.
Right.
These are medications that are essential for preventing blood clots.
Yeah.
But getting the dosage right is so crucial.
I can see how that would be tricky. Too little and the clots could still form.
Yeah,
Too much and you risk excessive bleeding.
exactly. And that's what pharmacogenomics comes in. Genetic testing can help determine the optimal dose for these medications, taking into account an individual's genetic makeup and minimizing the risk of complications.
Wow. It's amazing how our genes can have such a significant impact on something as seemingly straightforward as taking a pill.
It really highlights the complexity of our bodies and how even small variations in our DNA can have a ripple effect on our health.
So let's say someone is interested in getting a pharmacogenetic test. What's the process like?
Well, it varies depending on where you live and your healthcare system.
Okay.
Some doctors are already proactively recommending these tests, especially if you're taking medications with known genetic implications. But you can always ask your healthcare provider about it directly.
So it's not something I need a special referral for?
Not necessarily. And there are even at-home testing options available
Oh, wow.
if you're curious and want to explore on your own.
The at-home tests sound pretty convenient.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned earlier, it's probably wise to discuss the results with a healthcare professional
Absolutely.
to make sure they're interpreted correctly.
They can help put those results into context,
Right,
considering your individual medical history and other factors that might be relevant.
right. It's all about making informed decisions.
Exactly.
So let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. Where does pharmacogenomics fit into the future of healthcare? Is this something that will eventually become routine for everyone?
That's a great question, and it's one that many researchers and healthcare professionals are actively exploring. The field is still evolving, but there's a growing consensus that pharmacogenomics has the potential to revolutionize how we approach medicine.
It's like a paradigm shift in healthcare.
Totally.
Instead of reacting to disease,
Totally.
we could be preventing it or at least minimizing its impact by using our genetic information.
Exactly. Imagine a future where treatments are tailored to your unique genetic blueprint,
Yeah,
minimizing side effects and maximizing effectiveness.
it sounds like science fiction. But it's happening right now. It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is incredibly exciting, but there are also challenges that we need to address.
Like what?
Well, cost is definitely a factor. These tests can be expensive, and insurance coverage varies.
Right.
There are also concerns about data privacy and ensuring that this information is used responsibly.
That makes sense. It's important to make sure this technology is accessible to everyone and that there are safeguards in place to protect people's privacy.
Absolutely. As with any new technology, there are ethical and societal implications that need to be carefully considered.
But despite the challenges, it seems like pharmacogenomics has the potential to improve countless lives by making healthcare more personalized and effective.
I completely agree. It's a field with immense promise. I'm incredibly excited to see how it unfolds in the years to come.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. We've
Mhm.
covered so much ground, from the basics of pharmacogenomics to its potential impact on the future of healthcare.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
There's so much more to learn and explore in this rapidly evolving field.
Before we move on, let's take a moment to recap some of the key takeaways for our listeners. Okay, so to recap, we've learned that our genes, they really play a huge role in how our bodies respond to different medications. It's not just about what we take,
Right.
it's how our own individual blueprints process those drugs.
Exactly. And pharmacogenomic testing can provide that crucial insight. It can help doctors make more informed decisions about prescriptions, dosages, and potential side effects.
It's like taking all the guesswork out of medicine
Yeah,
and moving towards a more personalized and effective approach to healthcare.
that's the goal. And while the field is still evolving, it's already making a difference in how we treat a range of conditions.
Now, I know some of our listeners might be thinking, okay, this all sounds fascinating,
Yeah,
but what does it really mean for me?
that's a fair question. If you're currently taking medications, especially those we discussed today, abacavir, carbamazepine, tamoxifen, warfarin, or clopidogrel,
Right.
it might be worth talking to your doctor about pharmacogenomic testing.
Yeah, it's a simple conversation that could potentially have a big impact on your health and well-being.
Absolutely. And even if you're not on those specific medications, just keep pharmacogenomics in mind as you kind of navigate your healthcare journey.
Yeah.
It's a field that's constantly evolving, holding incredible promise for the future of medicine.
It's exciting to think that one day pharmacogenomic testing might become as routine as checking your blood pressure.
I know, right?
Truly personalized medicine.
Yeah.
Tailored to each person's needs.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for this field. It has the potential to revolutionize healthcare as we know it.
This has been such an incredible deep dive into pharmacogenomics.
It has been.
We hope you've learned something new and feel empowered to take a more proactive role in your own healthcare.
And as always, keep those brains curious and never stop asking questions. Until next time.